Alrighty, guys, welcome so much to the channel here. And first of all, I want to apologize for sounding the way I sound. It is it is February 1st, so I've already missed the end of review show from January. So I kind of forcing myself to do this because I've been sick for 3 weeks. Literally, I was sick for a week. Then I felt better, went back to work, and I got a severe case of gout, and I had to go to the emergency room. They put me on some medicine, some steroids and stuff. Got home from the emergency room and got sick immediately again. And so it's been 3 weeks of just terrible luck on my part. So because of that, I'm just going to try and power through tonight and get it done. And just do the best we can. So I apologize if this isn't the best show ever. So let's start here. This is season 4 of every month doing an end of review show. So this will be the 4th season we've been doing this. I cannot believe it's been 4 seasons that I've already done this, this is the start of the 4th season, that we've been doing a review show every single month at the end of the month. That is crazy. So, I would really appreciate it if you guys would hit that like button and show me a little bit of love and support and say, hey, yeah, this is great. I appreciate what you're doing. We love the review shows. Keep them coming, etc., etc. So, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about 2025. We're going to talk about what's things we're doing. Obviously, we're going to be talking about the sickness that's kind of taken over my life right now. And I'm hoping to get over this. I do feel like right now, like literally, I'm like my shirt is sopping wet, sweaty, gross, nasty. I'm hoping after I'm done with the shirt, or after I'm done with this show, I can go take my shirt off, put a new shirt on, and hopefully kind of be over the hump, as they like to say. As I've talked about through many episodes on this show, there's a lot to talk about, so we're going to get to it all. But consistency in what you're doing is the name of the game. So I wanted to start off January being very consistent, and with the consistency, creating new goals to talk about for 2026, new things to do, new areas to explore, new avenues to get us interested in continuing to do this. So what are our goals for 2026? Well, we got several new goals. One of the old goals was to continue our Sentinels of the Multiverse and every hero and going through every single hero in the game. And then our new goal was to go ahead and do the Sentinels of the Multiverse villains and add that to the list. We also wanted to try and get our tutorial series for Dominion and going through there. We've actually made it all the way up to like expansion 10 or 12 or 11, 10, 11, or 10 or 11 or 12. So eventually we would like to complete that tutorial series. New goals for 2026. One of our new, and I think having goals is super, 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 super important. I cannot stress having goals mean putting the pressure on yourself to do things. Forcing yourself when you don't want to do things. I don't want to be here right now doing this review show. But because it's now February 1st, and if I don't do it tonight, tomorrow will be February 2nd, February 3rd, February 4th, when am I going to get the show out? So I'm forcing myself to do that, which is good, because if I didn't force myself to do it, I wouldn't do it. Humans are lazy. Humans will find excuses to not do things when it's convenient for them. So by having goals and forcing yourself to do things that you don't want to do will make you a better person in the long run. I honestly, 100% wholeheartedly believe that. I would highly recommend in 2026, if you do not have goals, that you create a list of goals for yourself. So at the end of the year, you can sit down, like we do on this show every year, and we review every goal that we had, and we talk about what we did good, what we did bad, what we need to improve on, etc., etc. Check out the end of review show from 2025, and you will see that we go through this step by step by step. 2026 is going to be one of the things we talked about in 2026 is creating more games with fellow players. Cardboard Commander, Lower Slower Board Gamer. We've got several things scheduled that we are creating a set schedule and a time. Unfortunately, I was supposed to play with Lower Slower on Friday when I had to cancel because I was sick. Deathbed sick, couldn't play, unfortunately, which is a darn shame because I really wanted to get together and play with them. And again, for his sake and for my sake and continuing this process going forward. So unfortunately, we're going to have to reschedule that, which is rather unfortunate. It's just the way my life has been the last couple weeks. So one of the goals in 2026 is to create more of a time to play with other people. And in fact, I changed our Excel sheet to actually include now a list to tell us whether or not it was played with somebody else or if it was played solo or by herself at that point. So I've changed our Excel sheet so it'll actually tell me now, oh, you've played X amount of games with players and X amount of games without players. Speaking of our Excel sheet, shall I show you? I'm actually going to do this a little bit different today. I think what we're going to do. All right, so let's talk about what we did in 2020 in January so far. Let's get our monthly totals down here as well. Let's add those into the sheet here so we can kind of see our monthly totals. So on the monthly total on the left-hand side is new games. So we played 8 new games, and this year they're all color-coded. Yay! We got color coding in 2026, finally. So we only played 8 new games. But think about it. If you average 8 games a year, eight games a month, that's 96 games you're going to play in 2026. So while 8 doesn't sound like a lot, 8 times 12 is 96. So that's almost 100 new games that we're on average. Again, our goal in 2026 was to play between 50 and 100 new games every single year from now on. That's going to be our standard goal from going forward. So we played 8 new games. The games that we played this year were Arkham Horror Final Hour. We played Run, Fight, or Die Reloaded. We played Shazin 0K. We played Nova Roma. We played Harmonies. We played Rise. We played A Carnivore Did It. And we played Sanctuary. So all the ones in pink are new games to us this year, this month. We also played Glory Days Boxing, which was our first game that we played in 2026. We played Player of the Game Golf, Lock and Load Heroes in Normandy, Witchcraft, Sentinels of the Multiverse, Definitive Edition, Cartographers, Heat, Pedal to the Metal, Brass of Birmingham, Mexican Train, Payoff Pitch Baseball, the Guild of Merchant Explorers, and Teotihuacan, City of Gods. So, I think it's very, very important to talk about Teotihuacan for a second. If you've been watching our review show in 2026, one of the things I talked about was the fact that all the T games, I didn't play very many of them in 2025. And I said, that's a damn shame. I really should play more T games because I love the T games. Teotihuacan, Tikinu, Tile Tim. I mean, there's a whole series of games by David Turczi that start with the letter T, and they call them just the T games. In 2025, I didn't play them very much because they're medium to heavyweight Euro games, and I didn't find the desire to play them as much as I had in the past. So in January, I said to myself, I want to play a T game because I don't want it to be another year where you don't play very many T games. So I forced myself, again, force yourself to do things you don't want to do, which will make you a better person in the long run. And so we actually played Teotihuacan, City of Gods, just the other day. Of course, before I got sick and kind of had 3 weeks of terribleness. You can see in January we played 27 games, and we played 5 digital games. Again, I'm kind of separating things out between new games, total games, and digital games so that I know what I've done digitally and what I've done physically. So 27 games, which is usually not a lot of games for us in a month. But you have to take into consideration that I've been sick for 3 weeks. And of the last 3 weeks, literally, there's only been 3 or 4 days that I felt like doing anything whatsoever. Anything whatsoever. I'm hoping that this is finally over the hump and I'm going to get better and everything will be fine going forward. But January was a little light. And that's why I talked in the beginning of this episode about consistency. Forcing yourself to be consistent because you're going to have highs and lows, right? Because of sickness, illnesses, injuries, whatever, that you're going to have to compensate for. If I wouldn't have been forcing myself to do these things early in January, if I would not have forced myself to do these things, and I take 3 weeks off in January, I mean, that's going to put me way behind the 8 ball. Way behind the 8 ball. So I've learned, this is our 4th season of talking about this. This is our 4th season of reviewing shows and talking about it every month. And I've learned, and I'm trying to share this knowledge with you. My number one thing I would say is be consistent. Force yourself, and even when you don't want to do things, to do it. So that way, when something happens, you get sick, you get injured, you have to take a medical leave, whatever the situation is, you've got some built up resistances for that. Again, if I wouldn't have been forcing myself to do all these games early in January, and I get sick and I take 3 weeks off, I got 8 games played in January. That's just not acceptable. That wouldn't have happened. So by being consistent, forcing yourself to be consistent every day, every couple days, whether you want to or not, you sit down, you play a game, you force yourself to do it. You force yourself to do it so that way you have enough built up so if something happens, you're not behind the 8 ball and you're not stressed out. You're not, you're not feeling bad about your situation. Like seriously, if I would have only played like 6 or 8 games in January and then I got sick and I was off for 3 weeks and I didn't do anything for 3 weeks, I would feel terrible. I would feel horrible. I would feel like January was a waste. Like it's just it would have been very, very bad situation. Then the 2026, the whole year feels like I'm already behind schedule. I'm way behind where I need to be. I've got to do extra to catch up. You do not want to force yourself to be like that. Trust me, people. I'm telling you this from the love of my heart. You do not want to force yourself to feel like that. You want to feel like you are on top of the situation, not behind the situation. And the only way for you to feel that you are on top of the situation is if you force yourself to consistently produce for yourself over and over and over and over. When you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. You don't need to do it, but you do it anyways so that you have built up enough resistances and tolerances so that if something happens, you are still above the 8 ball. And that's the way I've always thought about this and the way I will always continue to do this. And it works for me great. It really has. We've had almost 100 games last year. We had 136 games the year before that, 126 games the year before that. We only did 8 games in January. Only 8. Right? We forced ourselves to do 8 new games. That's 96 games at the end of the year if I do 8 more every month. 8 more every month. It's 96 games. I don't feel like I'm behind the 8 ball, and I've been sick for 3 weeks. Because I've forced myself to do it every time. And I said to myself, okay, I want to have 3 or 4 games here. I want to do them back to back to back. You know, I want to get them on the table, and I want to force myself to do them. So that way if something happens. And then, okay, now I got those 4. Let's do another 4. Okay, that's 8. Now I don't feel so bad. If I got sick, which I did, and I'm not able to do anymore, I've got 8 games. 8 times 12 is 96. That's 96 games. Again, anywhere between 50 and 100 is well within my range. We're going to shoot for 100. We're going to shoot for 100 because 100 is really not that bad, to be honest. And I think it's well doable for sure. But it's all about consistently producing and forcing yourself to make sure you do it. And that's just, it's as simple and as easy as I can explain it to you. And I know I don't want to get on my soapbox derby here, you know, and claim that I'm the world's greatest and this, that, and the other thing, right? And everyone's different and everyone does things differently, and what might work for me might not work for you. But I'm trusting you. I'm telling you people from the bottom of my heart, if you do this, you will make yourself a better person. I'm telling you, this isn't just about me playing games. This is about me making myself better. And this is about me making everyone else better by doing things through me. Okay? Now, I talked about this, and this is a huge, huge moment that we're going to talk about. There was a show that I used to host every Wednesday with Herman Lutman, and we would get together and we would talk of wargaming, and we'd spend like a half an hour to an hour just talking about different war game subjects. Then we would get on and we would play a war game for like an hour, half hour to an hour, just to kind of introduce it and show people off and stuff like that. I am going to be bringing that show back because one of the things I've talked about is creating a set schedule that I can force myself to live up to. So it's going to be called something like Wargame Wednesday or Wednesday Wargaming or something like that. I haven't got the exact details yet. Where each week we're going to have a new co-host come in. We're going to talk Wargaming with Cardboard Commander or Phoenix Knight or Nick, with Tony, with Cardboard Commander, with whoever, Wayne's World, whoever I can inspire to come on the show. We're gonna sit down. We're gonna have a half an hour to an hour discussion talking about a subject, and then we're gonna play a game for a little while, and just kind of, we're not gonna try to complete the game. We're just gonna kind of show off some moves, talk about the game, and just have a good time with that. That was a pretty good format. Me and Ermin had a great time. We did about 10 or 12 episodes, and then he couldn't do it anymore. Then I just decided not to do it anymore for a little while. And I think bringing this show back will force me to do several things. Number one, in 2025, my wargaming took a big dive for several big reasons. Number one, I took 4 months off, and I didn't do anything for 4 months. Number two, the War Room show, which I was on with Nate and Rough Swordsman, decided to go our separate ways. And so we no longer are on a war game show, so there's kind of defeats the purpose of playing war games when you're not on a war game show. So, 2025 wargaming took a big dump for me. I wasn't into it. There was obviously the issues with what was going on, not having a good time with it. Many other things kind of forced my hand with that. And so in 2026, I decided, well, if I want to bring that back into the fold, and I want to bring it back into if I want to bring it back into the repertoire, the only way to do that is to force yourself to commit to it, right? You have to commit to it to be able to get something out of it. So I'm going to commit to bringing Wargame Wednesday Wargaming, whatever I'm going to call it, back. And we're going to have a great time with that. And I think it's going to be awesome. I think the format worked really, really well because it's a kind of a combo. Like, you get a little bit of chat, you get a little bit of talking, and then you get to see some gameplay. Like, it's not just chatting, and it's not just gameplay. It's kind of a combination. And me and Herman had a great time doing it, and we had all kinds of great subjects. We talked about them, and I think this would be a good way to kind of get me to play more games, get me back into the community, the wargaming community, getting more people interested in the stuff that we're doing, and I've got a bunch of games sitting here that I haven't been able to play, so I'm hoping that because of that, it'll inspire me to force myself to do that. Again, 2026, we're going to force ourselves, do this, boom. I want to have a set schedule, right? Boom. And I'm thinking Wednesdays are good. Thursdays are bad because Cardboard Commander does his thing on Thursdays. Wednesdays are good because Wednesday and Wargaming sounds, you got Wargame and Wednesday Wargaming. It sounds like a good thing. It was the day that me and Herman did it together. We had a great time doing it, and again, I think it'd be interesting because it's going to be different. It's, again, you got a subject, you talk about the subject, like for example, one of the subjects we talked about was introductory to wargaming, and then We talk about games that introduce people to wargaming, and then we played one of those games. Like the game we play is whatever the subject is. It's not just like a random game. So it kind of all flowed really well together, and I think everyone had a great time watching those shows. You can actually still see those on my channel. And so, yeah, we're probably going to be doing that starting up in the next few weeks or so. Once I get a schedule, it will definitely be before the end of February. We will definitely have this set and regularly scheduled. With that said, I will say this. Cardboard Commander has reached out to me and has offered me a position on his show once a month at the first, I think it's the first Thursday of the month. I believe it's the first Thursday of the month. So for that reason, February 12th. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure it's February 12th. Yes, February 12th. Which will actually be the second Thursday in February. But, so I will be part of his show on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock on his channel, Cardboard Commander. And I'm very excited to help him with his show and talk with him about stuff and seeing how this goes. It is, how do I put it? It's not going to be a rehash of the War Room, and it's basically going to be just me giving commentary on what his subjects are, what he's talking about, and we're going to have like a little debate section where we have a subject, I debate it, he debates it, and then I debate it, and then he debates it. 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, and then we have the chat vote on who had the best outcome, and then whoever won the debate gets to pick the subject for next time. It's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be a great time, and I'm really looking forward to that. How it all evolves and how it goes, we'll just have to stay tuned and see, but I think I'm very excited about that. Thursday, February 12th on Cardboard Commander. I think it's going to be the second Thursday of the month going forward. It's going to be just once a month, and until things change, I think that'll be fine. I'll be running my show on Wednesdays and hopefully have Cardboard Commander as reciprocate, have him come on my show, and we can, be able to hook up and play more that way. More games with friends. We've already got a lower slower board gamer. We've already played Brass Birmingham in January with him. We were supposed to play on Friday, and unfortunately, again, I was sick as hell, couldn't do it. I had to cancel, and I apologize for that. I was so looking forward to hanging out and playing with him. But hopefully coming up soon in February, we're going to get Lower Slower Board Gamer back on. We're going to get something scheduled with Cardboard Commander, and we're going to get something scheduled with Phoenix Knight. So that's 3 people right there. Again, 2026, forcing ourselves to play more with people. Try to be a little more friendly with people. Interact with more people. Getting more interaction on the channel for you guys. So, let's see. Is there anything else we wanted to cover? We wanted to talk about? Again, I don't want to sound like beating a dead horse. I have been extremely sick for the last 3 weeks, as you can probably tell. I'm hopefully trying to get over this for the 3rd time now. And hopefully, knock on wood, February is going to be a much better month. Force yourself to do it when you don't want to do it, because you don't want to fall behind schedule, my friends. I swear you do not want to do this. January could have been a horrible month. 2026 could have been a horrible month. But the fact that I forced myself to do the things every day, every moment, so that if something happens, I prepared and I've got a little bit of leeway. So for me, January was 27 total games, 8 new games a month, 5 digital new games, and even though I've been sick for 3 weeks, I still feel like we had a very successful month. Do not, please, for the love of God, do not step on your laurels and say to yourself, I'm not going to do it today, I'll catch up tomorrow, because you will fall behind. And then if something happens and you get sick or injured or you're in the hospital or whatever happens, and all of a sudden you got 2 weeks behind, then all of a sudden you feel like, okay, now you're in a bad situation. I would rather take the initiative and keep one step ahead of where you need to be, so that way you can take 2 steps back and not feel like you're missing out. 96 games is where we're sitting at after January 2026. If all goes as well, 8 games a month is very doable. Again, anywhere between 50 and 100 I will be perfectly happy with. So knowing that I've played 8, and if I just do 8 every month, we're at 96 games. I'm perfectly happy with that. 27 total games. We played some awesome games. I'm telling you what, Arkham Horror Final Hour, really good game. Really hidden gem, I think, in that game. Run, Fight, or Die. I've got a history with that one because of the, it's by Richard Launius, which is great. So, but the Gray Fox Games is just the worst. Do not order anything from them. Shinkansen 0K is a dud. I would never play that game again. It's an interesting idea, but not well implemented. Nova Roma, really cool game. I'm very surprised. I got some of these games at the end of 2025 on sale for $8, $10, $12, $15. Nova Roma and Harmonies and Rise. All 3 of these games are super good, super fun, super interesting. Check out the playthrough on these games. I think Harmonies is going to be a really good classic game. We had a great time playing it. Rise has got this super interesting matrix thing where Caesar is going to go to one area, and so you're trying to decide which area to put Caesar in. And it's like a 4x4 grid, and then based upon where Caesar is, he's going to give you a bonus to your other actions. Really interesting, cool game. A Carnivore did it. This is amazing game for $15, $20. You get 2,000 different puzzles. If you like puzzles, 2,000 different puzzles. This is a very simple game, I shouldn't say it's simple. Let me start again. It's all about you have 3 creatures, and one of them is lying, and one of them did the crime, and so you have to figure out, the parrot might say, I did it, the fox might say, I did it, and the beaver might say, someone higher than 170 centimeters did it. So you got to figure out, okay, from those 3 characters, only one's lying. Well, if the parrot did it and the beaver did it, they both can't have done it. One of them's got to be lying, so you have to try to figure out which one's lying. And that is the simplest ones. You get up to there are 2 people telling the truth, there's 2 people lying, and there's 2 people that have committed the murder, or and so you have to like kind of weave these intricate plans together. It is so good. For like $15 or $20, there's tons, and like I said, 2,000, and they go up in difficulty. So you can go from really, really easy all the way up to really, 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 really hard. And in fact, it's so hard. It goes to. There are 7 different people. 3 of them are lying. And there are either 3 or 4 people telling the truth. So you can see that this is not just a, super easy. There are super easy ones, but there's also, you can have some very puzzly outcomes, depending on how difficult you want to make it. And Sanctuary is another great game. We had really good month in January, and thank you also for joining me. Again, I just wanted to squeeze this in. It's already February 1st. I wanted to get it done. Season 4 is upon us. We're going to be doing a War Game Wednesday show coming back soon, probably within the next week or 2. Once that gets scheduled, look for details and dates on that. More games with friends, Lower Sword Board Gamer, Cardboard Commander, Phoenix Knight, and of course our usual every single day pushing forward to keep things moving. So thanks everyone for joining me. January's done. Let's move on to February. I am done with January. I am so done with January. I am glad to see it goodbye. I am looking forward to February. Let's just move on from there. My friends, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new around here, and let us know if there's a game on the channel that you would like to see. One of the things I'm going to be doing starting next month is I'm going to be having a subscriber poll where you guys get to vote on the game that we play. And I'm thinking about either once a week or once a month. I'm not sure yet. So if there's a game that you are interested in us playing, and you want to nominate it, leave a comment section down below and I will add it to the nominations. My friends, you take care of yourselves. You have a wonderful evening. Hopefully you're feeling well. Hopefully you're not under the weather like I am. And hopefully this hasn't been too bad. I hope to see you guys soon. And I hope to feel better. Thank you for your support. January's done. Let's move on to February. And moving forward, we got a lot of great things coming for you in February. February 12th, Cardboard Commanders channel, War Game Wednesday, and all the other stuff previously mentioned. Take care, my friends. Bye for now.